Will Sharp, a war veteran who is in desperate need of $231,000 for his wife Amy's operation, seeks out Danny, his adoptive brother and a lifelong criminal. Danny convinces Will to take part in a bank heist that is worth $32 million. Due to the fact that Will is an exceptional driver and is capable of driving anything, Danny needs Will to be his driver. After Danny reaffirms that he is doing this for Amy, Will eventually gives in to his original reluctance and agrees to do it. Until Officer Zach, who goes to the bank to ask out a bank teller, discovers the scenario and is taken hostage by Danny, the plan is almost successful. There are 4 bags containing the money, and each bag contains $8 million. Then, a gunfight breaks out between one of the individuals involved in the heist and Zach's partner, Officer Mark. Everyone on the team is eliminated by the arrival of the Special Investigation Section, SIS, of the Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, with the exception of Will and Danny, who run away towards the garage. Will and Danny, each with 1 bag, make their escape. Will accidentally shoots Zach while he is attempting to flee, and during the struggle that ensues between Zach and Danny, Zach is shot. However, Danny compels Will to abandon Zach and flee away, despite the fact that Will wants to stop and help Zach. Mark is able to locate Zach and then calls for an ambulance. After abandoning Zach to his fate, the brothers make an attempt to leave the building by the back door, but they discover that it is besieged by law enforcement. They then take control of an ambulance that is being driven by EMT Cam Thompson, who is providing medical care to Zach, who is injured. Danny has taken Cam with him as a captive. Despite the fact that she is carrying a dead officer inside the ambulance, Danny compels Cam to persuade the SIS team to allow them to pass through the blockade. During this time, Mark discovers the injured ambulance driver and comes to the conclusion that the vehicle has been taken over by an armed robbery. Following a pursuit that takes them into an alleyway, Cam makes a last-ditch effort to flee by using a fire extinguisher, but Danny is able to quickly pick him up and bring him back under control. The Special Investigation Service, SIS, Captain Monroe, arrives at the scene and sends helicopters to pursue the ambulance. Danny instructs Will to continue driving in the direction of the location of their backup car. Cam convinces Danny to assist her in using a defibrillator, and she also convinces Will to give Zach some of his blood, much to Zach's confusion and feeling of helplessness. Danny is aware that if he were to kill a law enforcement officer, it would have devastating effects on him, thus he is determined to keep Zach alive. While this is going on, Monroe gives the command to use electronic sniping in order to identify the communication units that are on board the ambulance. A satellite phone and police scanners are discovered on board by the authorities. After that, Danny makes a phone call to Poppy, who is a criminal acquaintance of his father's, asking for assistance in evading the authorities in exchange for $8 million. This is the beginning of Poppy and his son Roberto's process of loading an automobile with heavy ammunition. Danny threatens to throw Cam off the ambulance when she tries to stop him from shooting Mark, who has been after them. Mark has been looking for them. When it is revealed that Monroe's dog is inside Mark's police vehicle, the cops are compelled to depart from the scene. FBI agent Anson Clark, who was a friend of Danny's in the past, is assigned to the investigation. It has been reported by Clark that Danny has been stealing banks ever since he was 17 years old. And it is well known that his father is a lunatic. According to Clark, Danny is seeking a way out of the situation because he did not kill the police officer. Danny is cautioned by Will not to provoke Cam. During the time that Zach is bleeding out, Cam, with Will's assistance, starts to conduct surgery on Zach. Cam successfully performs the surgery despite the fact that she is inexperienced and has a burst spleen. She does this by receiving advice over the phone from doctors who are experts in this field. Whilst Will was assisting Cam, Danny had taken over the driving duties. Cam makes numerous attempts to persuade Will to stop Danny but to no avail. Will promises Cam that he will see to it that she escapes alive. Because of the low battery, the phone line to the physicians was severed as Zach's spleen ruptured as it was being removed from his bloodstream. There is a patient who has 60 seconds left to live in that circumstance. Cam used a clamp to stop the artery successfully, but the medical professionals were unaware of this fact. Although Monroe is uninformed of the success of the operation, he continues with the procedure and gets ready to kill Will and Danny without making any attempt to negotiate for Cam's life. On Zach's phone, which was still on his person inside the ambulance, Clark phones Cam and urges her to get down. Zach's phone was still on his person. With the intention of preventing Zach from losing his life, Cam informs Will and Danny about the snipers. Danny, who has had enough of Cam, makes the decision to shoot her, but Will steps in to prevent him from doing so. This causes the brothers to argue about their current situation. In the end, they achieve a partial reconciliation and listen to music together in order to alleviate the tension. As the ambulance is being pursued by helicopters in the Los Angeles River, Danny fires his gun at the helicopters. After that, Will and Danny drive on the opposite lane of the interstate, which results in several collisions with passengers. Danny conceals his ambulance beneath a bridge, where Poppy's men make it appear as though it has been painted blue. Despite Danny's assertion that this is Will's opportunity to leave, Will is adamant about not leaving. He is not going to abandon Danny. During their conversation, Cam finds out that Will has a daughter and that his wife is battling cancer and requires the funds for her surgery. Under the bridge, a large number of ambulances are driven away in a variety of routes to generate confusion among Monroe's crews. Poppy gives orders to his son, Roberto, to drive an empty ambulance in the direction of the police after filling it with C4 explosives. Following this, Roberto deploys machine guns on other automobiles in order to inflict extra damage, which ultimately results in Monroe being injured in the crossfire. Mark had witnessed Roberto make his escape by jumping out of the loaded ambulance, and he after him. During the course of the confrontation, Mark pursues Roberto and ultimately shoots him to death, leaving Poppy in a state of anger and distress. Will and Danny make their way to Poppy's secret location. Will refuses to comply with Poppy and joins forces with Danny to eliminate Poppy and his group. Poppy insists that the brothers should leave Zach and Cam with them so that they can deal with them. Cam receives the gun that belonged to Zach's partner when Zach regains consciousness while he is in the ambulance. Cam accidentally shoots Will with Zach's gun when the situation is otherwise chaotic. In the ambulance, Danny places Will in the chair. Cam receives a bundle of cash from Will, who then begs her to give it to his wife. Will then hands the bundle to Cam. It is in the hospital that Danny finds Zach's gun. Danny is driving the ambulance there. Cam's admission that she was the one who shot Will ignites a firestorm of anger within him. According to Danny, Will was the one who rescued Zach and Cam from the situation. During the live television broadcast, Danny makes a solemn pledge to kill Cam in addition to himself before confronting the authorities. When Will was left with no other option, he decided to shoot Danny in the stomach. Will is given an apology by Danny before he passes away as a result of his injuries. Will, who is severely injured, is taken into custody by the police and taken inside for surgery after Cam claims that he was the one who saved Zach's life. Zach, when questioned by the police about his injuries, tells them that Will saved his life. Cam donates some of the money from the heist to Amy secretly so she can have surgery.